guys, today I am doing a hair coloring video, and you guys always really love these videos. Way back on my channel I did a review of a ton of different drugstore hair color products, and I landed on my favorite one, and ever since then I've been using that one. I've been dyeing my hair now for about 8 years, if not longer, and you guys always ask me questions about what color my hair is, and I am going to be using like a drugstore box dye, really affordable, and I'll talk to you a bit about that. I will leave my other hair color videos below. This is kind of a demo. This is the first time doing like a in the bathroom, like showing you the nitty-gritty part of it rather than just talking about it. I did want to give you just some like extra tips that'll just make it easier if you've never dyed your hair before, if you're kind of new to doing it yourself. The reason, first of all, that I dye my hair myself at home is because it's so expensive to get it done professionally. So expensive. I got my hair dyed about 2 years ago at a salon, and I spent over $200 on it, but I just didn't think it was worth $200 and something. Like, that's insane. So I just wanted to give you some background on why I dye my hair at home. Number one tip I would say is don't wash your hair right before. If your hair is super clean when you dye it, and dye won't cling to your hair as much, a day or two of not washing it is pretty good because then it has something to grip onto. So that's one thing I'd recommend. Even if you're gonna go get your hair done professionally, don't wash it right beforehand. Another thing I wanted to mention is that I always use 2 boxes of hair dye no matter what. I usually get 2 because I get 2 different colors every time. Even if I want to have like a pretty much all over, like one dark brown or whatever it is, I will always buy 2 different ones, whether it's 1 or 2 shades lighter, or even like very different colors, like how I did it today, because I like to have a little bit of dimension. I don't want to have like all one complete solid shade. I mean, if that's what you want, great, but I think that 2 shades always works a bit better. I always go darker at my roots, which you will see as well, because that looks the most natural in my opinion. I think if your roots are lighter or kind of too mix matched, it just doesn't look right in my opinion. I'd say the hair dyeing process at home is a lot of trial and error. I'm not a professional. This is just what's been working for me for the last 8 years, so I was hoping that it would help some of you out. So if you seem interested in this and you want to know how I dye my hair and how to do it from home with a box dye, then please keep on watching. So the first thing you're going to need is a dirty old towel, which will just protect your floor from getting any stains. Then a hair dye, obviously. This one's blonde. It's called Honey Blonde from Revlon Colorsilk Luminista. You can find these only online at Target. Then I have medium brown Revlon regular Colorsilk, which you can find at most drugstores. A pair of scissors, we'll talk about that later. And a hairbrush just to comb out any knots. A clip to hold your hair up and section it off. Some paper towels for any messy cleanup. And an old shirt you don't mind getting stained. I'm just going to show you what you should expect when you open up your box. Both boxes of this, even though they're kind of different, have the same things inside. So when you open up, you're going to have this part, which is where you're going to squirt the color out onto your hair. You're going to have the actual color that you're going to be mixing, the conditioner, which you're going to use later on, and then the directions, which is also where the gloves are that come with it. You don't even have to buy gloves. A lot of people don't know this. When you unfold the directions on the side in Spanish, the gloves peel right off there, and there you go, they're your gloves. And I like these. You could use regular rubber gloves if you want something thicker, but these are fine for me. And this is my setup. I covered the counter with paper towels just to make sure, again, that there are no stains. Then to start with the process, you're going to take your scissors, this is what they're for, and cut off the little top on the top of this nozzle, just so that the color can come through later. Put on your gloves so you don't stain your hands, because this will stain if you don't clean it up quickly. Unscrew the nozzle, and for both colors you're going to do this. This one obviously it looks very pink, this is the blonde one, but don't worry about that. Even though this color is bright, it's not going to be that way. You're going to pour it all in, and then you're going to put the top right back on. Make sure you're closing it completely and tightly as possible so that you don't get any leaks, because this will make a big mess if it does. You're going to cover up the tip with your finger and just shake it until it's completely blended up, about 30 seconds. And you're going to do the same thing with the other dye. You're just going to pour it in and then shake it up until it is completely blended. Just make sure you're really closing that top as tight as possible. And then you're going to have your 2 colors prepared once you're all shaken up. And then you just got to go through your hair. I would recommend brushing your hair as good as possible so that there are absolutely no knots, because that will just get in the way later, and the texture of your hair later with the dye on it is not going to be fun texture. Like I said, I always start with my roots, so I did take the darker dye, and I usually go around my part, so this is places that people are going to see the most, so I do these first because I find them to be the most important. So I went around my part, and then all around my roots, by my hairline, right around my face, anywhere that people are going to see most of the time. Make sure that's really well blended, that you're not missing any spots, because especially around your hairline, if you miss one spot and it's dry, it's going to be very noticeable. So I just went around my entire roots. Make sure you do the nape of your neck, especially if you put your hair up a lot, because that'll be very noticeable. This might be the time where you want to ask someone in your family or someone at home to check to make sure there's no dry spots. And then I section my hair off. Now I go from bottom to top, so that is a bit more uniform all around my head. If you go from left to right on each side of your head, it's not going to be very uniform and it can look kind of off. Then to start, like I said, make my roots a bit darker, so I take the darker dye and go around my roots and just blend it in, make sure all of it is getting nice and wet with the dye, and then I take the lighter one at the end of my hair and blend it all in again, same as I do with the top. And then right there, how you can see that, I'm kind of like almost like teasing it with my fingers, just going up and down so that the blonde and the darker brown both blend together very nicely and there's not like a harsh line in the middle, because I am going for like a very, very, very subtle ombre effect. If you wanted something a bit more drastic and a bit more light, you could check out my video, How to Safely Lighten Your Hair at Home. I'll leave that in the description box along with all my other hair dyeing videos. And then I did notice a little drip of hair dye fall onto my neck, so I just wet one of my paper towels with some warm water and wiped it off. You just want to make sure you're doing this as you go. Just pay attention, make sure it doesn't fall on the floor or on the counter, because it will stain and be very hard to clean off later. So if you do it as you go, it's a lot more easy that way. Then I just kept going around my head. I did speed this up so you guys didn't get super bored with me, but I just kept the darker shade higher up and then the lighter shade at the bottom. Sometimes I will take the dark shade all the way to add kind of like a highlight, low light kind of situation. Just really whatever I'm in the mood for, but obviously do however you think that yours will look good. Like I said, if you have any questions, you can always leave them in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer if you've never dyed your hair at home before. And then once you're done, it should look like this. I know the bottom looks a little bit pink, but that's just the way it looks when it's wet like that. And then you're just going to put it up so it doesn't drip while you're waiting and letting it sink in later on. So I just put it up with that same clip I was sectioning it off with earlier. And then you're going to want to start cleaning up the mess. So first thing I do is take my gloves off inside out so I don't touch the hair dye all over. Then I take my more paper towels with some warm water and wipe off my neck and anywhere else I got some stains. And then you're pretty much good to go. I usually wait around 20 minutes for the hair dye to set in before I rinse it out. You're going to rinse it until the water runs clear and then apply the conditioner packet and let it sit for 3 to 5 minutes and then rinse. And then when it is all rinsed out and dried and styled, this is how it looked. I was really happy with it. Make sure you let me know what you think though. So that is it for this hair dyeing at home video, whatever I decided to call this. Really hope you guys enjoyed it and it really helped you out. If it did, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions at all about hair dyeing. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I do tons of different stuff: hair, makeup, fashion, random rants, stuff like that. So if you're interested, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.